Life with Londie, episode 1. Let me start by saying I will extend grace to Londie. I mean, this was just a first episode, so I will continue watching the show until I decide maybe I can't watch it anymore or I continue watching it, but I'm gonna watch second episode. So for the first episode, this is me, guys. I am not sold at all. I have no desire. Next week Thursday, I cannot wait for next week Thursday. This is me personally. I was not sold. Even if I can miss it, it's no worries. If I watch it, I watch it. If I miss it, I miss it. I am not sold. I feel like this episode could have been a great story time. We read the room with the co-hosts yo guys has been godugile the fumana ipancha and I was panicking. I was worried about the show, and I feel like it could have been a great story time just this episode, but I will continue watching. And then Uchu, we know Uchu from Erod. I don't want to call Uchu classist as yet, but Mocheka a trailer, Uchu is always saying someone drinks a cheap alcohol, your cheap hair, your cheap what looks like for him to feel better about himself, he has to make someone feel small. So, I'm still reserving my comments about him. I will give him a grace as well. I will extend a grace to him as well. I will watch the show and see how he behaves. But yeah, guys, comment below, tell me what do you think of the
blueprint, my dear. Please see at least of the transitions. The transitions were a lot. Heavy editing also was just a lot. I don't know, this is like maybe them trying to explore something new. Number 2, okay, my other major concern is that, when I was watching the whole show, like it felt like a marketing platform. Like it felt like, something, they're just trying to sell something to me, like whether be it a podcast, otherwise I see the vision, but I don't know whether it's gonna be good for TV or not. Bye.
Let's review Uthando Nesthembu. Yeah, Andrea, Uthando Nesthembu, Jani. Let's review Londie London. Life with Londie, man. I'm gonna give my honest review. Spin-offs normally don't do well. Spin-off reality TVs normally don't perform well, but I am giving Londie London the benefit of the doubt. She has a lot of content that we can't take away from her. She has a lot of content, but however, what I think is going to affect the reality show is that Londie London's life is already out there, and again, the show was recently shot, and it looks like while she was still shooting the show, she was still exposing much of herself on social media, because there's a lot of content that I'm seeing on TV that I've seen on her stories, and that is throwing me off. Let me justify my point. Hear me out. When you don't give us much of yourself on the socials, we envy you. When we see your reality, we want to get to know you. We want to know what are you working on, Nanani. But when you are all over the social platforms, I feel like I already know so much about you, so it doesn't draw the interest of me watching you on TV, because I am watching you already on socials, and I feel like I know more of you already. Another thing that threw me off on the first episode is I don't like, maybe this is a me issue, I don't like watching repeat content. The scenes that go raw, I felt like I've watched it already and we've gone through that already. I felt like maybe if it was a conversation you were having with a friend and letting us know how you dealt with it, that would have been more of it. And again, also when the podcast scene that was live streamed, I don't like watching repeat content. I just felt like I am watching the podcast all over again. I watched the live stream and I felt like I'm just watching it again on TV. Now, another thing that also threw me off is the conversation that Uq was having with Londie towards the end of the show when they spoke about Angel stealing her nan. If you are going to have conversations about people, especially interesting conversation, if those people are also going to be part of your show, it's always advisable to introduce us to those people on the show, like on the first episode. Like, who's Angel? I don't know who they're speaking about. Now I need to speculate. Angel Mope, you know. But nonetheless, for a first episode, it was great content. But I also just feel like Londie London is exposed too much. Like, we know too much about her, and I just feel like it's going to just be a repeat of things that we already know. My 2 cents, you know, you don't have to take it to consideration. Do whatever you do with this information. When you are shooting a reality TV, you know, deprive people on the socials of you so that you save up that content for the reality. And that drives a drive that drives us to be interested in watching. And again, yes, after them Zumba Kardashians, I will be watching Londie, Life with Londie London. It's great content, and I'm looking forward to, for our first episode, I was, you know, not too, for a first episode, but that's also, you know, it's the first episode, and looking at the highlights, the content is there, and I know for a fact that Londie London has a lot of interesting people around her, and we're going to see that. But please give us less of Q, because I feel like telling from the highlights, I can tell Uguti what we saw on Rod from the Q character, it's going to be a repeat, and I am telling you, people are not gonna like that. Q, okay, forget about it, we'll talk about it some other time. Once again, my name is Andrew Moore, and thank you for watching the White.
But one thing about Londie, this girl, like I said, she's just a girl. And she's bringing all of it, honey. She's bringing kids, family, friendships, business, and I'm here for it. For first episode, my first impressions, I think they did the best with what they could. I mean, they had about 20 minutes or so, and they just gave us a glimpse of what's expected. Like I said, there's family there, there's baby daddy drama, there's business, all of it is coming. And I think that's what a pilot episode is supposed to do. Just give you a glimpse up to see, okay, this is what I'm getting. And that highlight of the season, I loved it. I'm here. Like, who's Angela and what the hell is she doing? You know how people always say, oh, I'd rather live in a struggle in a mansion? Well, I actually think Londie is bringing us the reality and the aftermath of that whole lifestyle. Because yes, online the soft life looks amazing. However, emotionally, it really takes a toll on you, especially if you have kids. And I want to see how she tackles all of that. I know a lot of people also say that she already shares her life online. If you actually watch reality shows like that, you know that's TV gold if you actually do it well, because online you just give us the headlines.
It was 2 a.m. and I thought, since I can't sleep, we might as well talk about episode 1 of Life with Londie London. So my review is going to be different. Consider it as a masterclass on reality TV. I want to tell you guys about certain things. Number 1, so the show is produced by a company called Rapid Blue. When I saw that Rapid Blue is producing the show, I was shocked, first of all, because Rapid Blue has always done like projects at grand scale. So think of shows like Dancing with the Stars, Steve Harvey's show, Family Feud, Come Dine With Me. And secondly, they've always created very niche content. So for the first time, we see them tap into sort of mass market, or as they're going into Mzansi Magic. The only thing they last did on Mzansi Magic was a Stunzi, which got many Emmy nominations, but they've never done something of this nature. So 2 things that I'm thinking here as someone who is constantly studying the industry. It's either they're just experimenting to see, can we go this direction? But also, this is also a huge economic indicator. There's so much happening in this industry, guys. Companies that used to do things at grand scale, they know they're losing so much money. And sometimes they have to let go of a lot of people. So when I saw that Rapid Blue is now on doing reality shows on Mzansi Magic, I was like, okay, I hope, sometimes such shifts can be a huge economic indicator to tell you that, people who would ordinarily say, oh, maybe we do BBC, we're working with the, all these premium boutiques, so to say. The moment you see them come Mzansi Magic, you're like, okay. Now let us talk about a move that Mzansi Magic did, which for me, I find it very tricky. I think it set Londie's show on a very bad foot, especially with the viewers. First of all, Londie's show is coming in, and it was set to come in in a spot of Uthando Nestembu. Uthando Nestembu is a giant, it's like Shaka Ilembe. So that is not a problem, fine. Then we are told that Londie's show is moved. I think the initial date was 7 or 4, and then it's moved to the 28th or something, 21st, you get me? So, and then you play good episodes of Uthando Nestembu. So now viewers are saying, I feel like Mzansi Magic did not realize that they created animosity between Londie and the viewers. Because the moment Uthando Nestembu, we saw those episodes, we were like, oh my word, they're so nice. Umseli was buying Umakumalo a house. Then viewers are starting to think, so we nearly missed all of this because of Londie. You get that somehow certain decisions do create animosity. In terms of how people receive the show, because people are already feeling like, Londie. Why? Imagine we nearly lost so much beautiful content because they wanted to put Londie's show. Listen, I do commend Londie so far from what I've seen. Now, a show about an individual is very different. So let me explain it in this way. An ensemble cast like Rod, like the Mummy Club, are really good because how do I put it? It's like singing in a choir. If you sing in a choir, you sing in unison, right? So your voices get to blend. But when you get a show about yourself, it becomes now a solo performance. When it becomes a solo performance, it means that in a choir you are singing in unison, but now that you are alone, we are able to hear the inflections in your voice, the rise, the lows. Now, even if there's a mistake, it's so easy for us to notice that because now it's a solo performance. Whereas in an ensemble or a choir performance, you are able to hide with other people, right? And they're also able to elevate you as well, because people like your nonkus, your minis and whatnot, whether they're doing good or bad, somehow it elevates another person's performance in a way. Things I want to say: familiarity breeds contempt. I feel like people have been sort of throwing jabs to say, Londie must put a content on YouTube or post it on Instagram. Those jabs. I feel like it's because people feel as if they have access to her, right? She is out there, and unfortunately she has to be out there because when you look at there's a digital economy right now. Unfortunately, you have to post your life to get money. If you don't, you're not gonna survive. Not everyone is like Zonke Dikana, whereby you can stay and not even come out in public and still make money. So it's a very tricky situation. It's a very tricky dynamic. She still has to show up, but at the same time, so familiarity is also an issue in terms of how people receive you. Secondly, I want to say, I do watching the first episode, Londie is like all of us. For me, I think she's an ordinary person. It shows her life is telling me, okay, life is not always black and white. The fact that she fell pregnant for the second time when in the first time the pregnancy she was alone, then she shows like she makes mistakes like everyone. But as I watch the show, I also noticed that she's someone who's struggling to be vulnerable as well. So you see that through someone who would want to cry, but they're like, for example, she was like, bad bitches, don't cry, she would you're going through something and then she makes a joke about it. So vulnerability is also a huge thing, but also it takes time for people to be vulnerable. So according to me, the first episode was really good, but again, I know we have so much expectations, but if a show is about an individual, there's only so much that you can give. Like there's only so much that you can share as well. Hence, I'm such a fan of ensemble cast shows, because you just never know what to expect. Like in a dinner on Rod or Mummy Club, you just never know what someone is going to say. People could be friends on the first episode, on the third episode, they're no longer friends. So a show about an individual is very hard to make, honestly. So, but yeah, it was a good first pilot episode.